everyone, welcome to A Stitch in Time. Today is Friday. It is May 6, 2022, and this is episode 218. My name is Carol. My Ravelry name is Knits and Pearls, and I live in the Fraser Valley of British Columbia, Canada, not too far from Vancouver. Hope you've all had a good week. Mine has been good, but it has gone by very quickly, as has today. It is already after 3:30, and I don't usually wait till that late in the day to record. And I don't usually record on Fridays either, for the simple reason that my husband and I make a point of spending Friday evenings together, and I don't want, podcast editing and production, etc., to kind of run into our time together. Often on recording day, I'll still be working on podcast things in the sort of early to mid-evening. Having said all that, it just worked out this week that this was the best day to record. I'm just getting around to it later than I would have liked. And I really didn't want to put it off till next week. So I'm going to call this one Casual Friday because I didn't take the extra time that would be needed to get all dressed up and put on makeup for you. So other than a little eyeliner, this is what you get today. This is how I look most of the time anyway, if you knew me in real life. So hope you don't mind just taking me as I am. The reason I did not want to put off recording until next week is that I have some winners to announce for the Year of the Stash Make-Along, which is taking place in the A Stitch in Time podcast Ravelry group. It is never too late to join in, so come on over, read the first threads of each of the first posts in each of the pertinent threads, and that'll give you a good idea of what this year-long make-along is all about. So without further ado, the first winner I'm going to announce is from the Year of the Stash General Chatter thread. This is from the posts that were made in April, and they numbered from 981 to 1140. And so I plugged that into random number generator, and it chose post 1137. And that is Mad Laura, who is Laura from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So congratulations, Laura. Way to get it in under the gun. She had posted on April 30th with some of her projects. So congratulations, you're going to win this fabric tote made by yours truly. So go ahead, send me a private message in Ravelry with your mailing information, and I will get that off to you, and hopefully you'll enjoy putting some of your knitting projects in there. The second winner I'm going to announce is from the Personal Sock Yarn Club chatter thread, which ran from the beginning of March through to the end of April. I chose from posts 2 to 149. Post 1 is always me. But as it turned out, the first time around, random number generator chose one of my posts, but when I hit generate again, it chose post 99, who is AJ Borthwick, who is also known as Allison from Port Moody, British Columbia, Canada. And actually, that's where I grew up. And I met Allison last year at Knit City, and she had reached out to me earlier in the year and let me know that we had some relatives in common. My aunt's longtime partner is her dad's brother. So although we didn't know about each other and hadn't met until last fall, I have met her dad several times over the years, and it was just such a neat coincidence. So congratulations, Allison. You are going to win this project bag. Has a pocket inside. Whoops. And I'm also going to include this Cute little sock progress keeper. So same goes for you. Please send me your mailing info via private message on Ravelry, and I'll get those in the mail as soon as I can. And finally, we have the winner of the FO thread for the March Personal Sock Yarn Club. So it's interesting because the winner from the general Year of the Stash Chatter thread came from right at the very end, and then the chatter thread for the Personal Sock Yarn Club came kind of from the middle, and this one came right at the beginning. So I put in post 2 to 25, and random number generator chose post number 2. So M's Little Nest, who is Emma from Wellington, New Zealand, was the first one to post her finished pair of socks for March's installment of the club. So congratulations, Emma. You have won up to $25 US in patterns that are giftable on Ravelry. So decide which patterns you would like, and then send me a personal message on Ravelry, and I will get those into your Ravelry mailbox right away. So I learned a hard lesson last month. I thought it would be nice for when I awarded pattern prizes, I thought it'd be nice to be able to send, you know, something like a little stitch marker, progress keeper also, so that people would have something kind of tangible. But it turns out that for international recipients, that if I tuck something this small and this light into like a regular envelope with a card, it becomes a small packet, and it costs more than the value of the item to ship. And so unfortunately, I won't be able to do that anymore for international recipients. So instead, I've just tacked a little bit more value onto your pattern prize. So it's too bad, you know, it just the post office just ruins everything. That's all I can say. I just thought it was crazy, but that's the way it is. So anyway, congratulations to all our winners, and I hope if you're interested that you'll come over to the Ravelry group and join in the make-along. I only have 2 knitting works in progress to share with you this week. They are both socks. The first ones I mentioned last episode. I had started them the day before. It was kind of to tide me over between the my April projects and the new ones I wanted to start in May for various make-alongs. So I pulled out this skein of Knit Picks Felici from my stash. And this is the Under the Sea colorway. I guess I had 2 skeins because they come in 50 grams. So I had picked this one up to knit some socks for my daughter-in-law. And if you've watched for a while, you know she's crazy about mermaids. And so this, to me, was kind of reminiscent of that theme. Plus it had nice colors. So I've got them, I decided to cast them both on at the same time. They're all tangled here, but I've gotten through one striping repeat so far. But I have tucked these away again. These will be for probably her birthday in very end of December, so I'm in no rush to finish them. But it's something I can pull out when I am in between projects like that. Plus I have a lot of car knitting time coming up, so that might come in handy for that too. Anyway, yeah, it's just a pretty colorway with these blues and greens and blues and greens. I guess that's it. Yeah. Oh, and gray. It's that kind of day. It's that kind of day. So after I'd cast these on, I was thinking that these colors would look really nice paired with navy. And I can't remember who it is. Somebody in our Year of the Stash make-along used some scrappy striped yarn, like leftover striped yarn, and she alternated a stripe of a solid color, or not a stripe, but a row of a solid color with a row of her striped yarn. And it just made such a really cool sock. So I was thinking that that's what I'm going to do with the leftovers. I momentarily considered ripping this back, starting over and doing it that way. And then I decided that was just crazy, but I could just use the leftovers to do that. So I've tucked this Cascade Heritage yarn away in the same bags as a reminder. So when these socks are all done, I'm going to use this yarn again with the navy. But for now, these aren't getting knit on at all. They're living inside the little compartment in my coffee table where I keep my active projects. And I've got those stored in this bag I made a few years ago. Love the birds. And so I have one more pair of socks, and I showed you the yarn for this last week. This is for my May. I had to think what month we were in. Oh man, I'm so scattered today, can you tell? It's for my May Personal Sock Yarn Club, and this is from Fiber Nymph Dye Works. I think I have the label in here. Yeah. It's the Bedazzled Base, and this was part of the Encore Yarn and Fiber Club back in November, and this is the Galaxy Cocktail colorway. It looks like this in the skein, and it looks like this knit up. I didn't even grab a sock blocker or anything, man. So yeah, this is how it's striping up. Super fun. And then I had a mini from Lisa in my stash that it's not the bedazzled base, it's just the bounce base, and it's a little bit different because it's sort of tonal and this is more solid, but the colors were very similar, and so I decided to use that to do the heels. And so that's how it's coming along so far. Both these pairs of socks are 64 stitches on a 2mm needle, both top down, 2x2 rib, just my usual plain vanilla sock. So yeah, I haven't been doing a lot of knitting this last week or so, but I have been doing some sewing. And so I have a few things to show you. First thing was I had a couple of half-done fabric totes taking up space in my craft room, and so the other day I finally got around to finishing those up. So I had this one here, just a plain cream off-white lining. Oops. Bring that a little bit closer so you can see. So it has dragonflies and then just polka dots here. And this one I tried, I think you can see the lines, how I quilted this one. I just tried something new. This is just a wavy stitch on my, wavy stitch on my sewing machine. And I just marked off a grid and did that. And then this one, I just love this one. I had made these with the intention of giving them for prizes for the Year of the Stash, but I am so tempted to keep this one. I just adore it. It's this beautiful flowered fabric. To me, this kind of looks like a basket with flowers. So I don't really need another bag. I have a gazillion, but there's just something about this one I just love. So this one I quilted just with a diamond pattern. I think you can see it there. So one of the reasons I wanted to finish those bags up was, one, just to get them off of my conscience and to get them off of my surfaces here in my craft room. Excuse me. Another reason is I wanted to get started on a baby quilt. I don't think I told you, but 2 or 3 weeks ago, my nephew and his wife had a little boy. They live in Ottawa, Ontario, so across the country. It's actually been years since I've seen my nephew, and I haven't yet met his wife, and it'll probably be forever until I meet this little guy, but I wanted to make something for them. So let me just take a sip of tea. I had bought some fabric, I think it was before Christmas, from Connecting Threads. And while I was shopping, I noticed this really cute little charm pack. It's from Riley Blake Designs, and it's called Eat Your Vegetables. And there you can see all the different fabric prints there. So fun colors, the orange and the blue and the green and the yellow. And I just thought it would make a really cute baby quilt. So I have this book called 3 Times a Charm, or 3 Times the Charm. It is by Me and My Sister Designs, and that's Barbara Groves and Mary Jacobson. Pardon me, a bit of a frog in my throat. And it's all about using charm packs. So I found this pattern, and I thought that would look really cute. So just, as you can see, 4 rows, vertical rows of basically the charms you cut in half and stack them, and then just have some, fabric between them, and top and bottom, and there you go. So what I chose, I just realized, that's interesting. They tell you to cut, I think they do. Yeah, they tell you to cut 2, like a top and a bottom border and a top and a bottom border, but this doesn't even have the, or unless it's just the photograph that's cut off, I guess. I thought it was the quilt. Anyway, that's what it looks like. So I got this plaid to do the outlines with, and then to use for the backing, and then I've chosen this orange fabric to use as the binding. So this morning, well, last night I was, I had already sewn the vertical strips together, and then last night I was doing the sashing, which is the strips in between those vertical strips, and then the top and bottom and side borders. And I was really struggling because when I started cutting the sashing, I didn't think about the fact that I would want these lines to meet up at the top and the bottom, so that it would be, the illusion would be that it's against like one piece of fabric. So I cut one wrong. Long story short, it took me all evening, and I just squeaked out what I needed out of it. And I kind of had to fudge one part where I had the vertical lines off by a little bit, and I know you're not really supposed to do that, but I kind of stretched it and eased it in to make it work. So probably the quilt is not going to lie 100% flat, but I don't care. It's a baby quilt. Just realizing you're not going to be able to see it very well, but I think if I do this and then kind of lift it up over my face, you'll get a look at all the different fabrics. So I'm going to do that. It's very cute. Okay, that's gonna have to do That will have to do because my arms aren't that long. So anyway, I did, by the end of the evening, get the whole quilt top put together. And then today I laid it out and I sandwiched the backing and the batting. And then I'm going to start the quilting part. So the sample one has stitched, or one of the sample ones, there's like 3 different ones. There's that one, and then there's those ones also. So it's the same pattern, just different fabrics. So this one, the original one that I showed you, on these, it had an X through all of these little rectangles. So I think I'm going to do that. I think it's a nice, easy way, and I'll just start here and go zigzag all the way one way, and then do it the opposite direction. So that should be pretty easy to stitch. And then it has kind of loopy things in the sashing and the binding area, or the border areas. I've never really done any free motion quilting, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do there. I don't want to try it and then have it look terrible, but I might draw some things with an erasable pen and then follow those lines with my needle. Haven't decided yet, but my first step will be to do the X's on all these columns, and that will, you know, hold a lot of the things in place. I've gone around and put in pins, and I actually did what my best I could to line it up with the same plaid on the back, just to make sure things are kind of centered, and yeah, but just something I did so that if you flip this over, it would fall, you know, it would kind of be the same on the other side. Probably wasn't necessary, but it kind of ensured that everything was lined up how it should be and the right size and stuff. So anyway, having fun with that, really loving it. Between quilting projects, I always forget how much I enjoy them. I still have not done any more quilting with my Christmas fabric. I still want to make another table runner and some other things, so maybe I'll work on that after this. Speaking of a craft that I really enjoy, but too much time goes between projects, I have another weaving project that is on my horizon. And I'm just going to insert a little pre-recorded segment right here and tell you all about it. I have the yarns for my next weaving project laid out here on my coffee table while I decide exactly what I want to do with them. So this is the 2021 Winter Magical Holiday Countdown Collection from Fiber Nymph Dye Works. And I had originally started knitting a cowl with them, but after the first couple of days I changed my mind and I just opened them instead every day and tucked them away and thought it might be fun to weave with them. So I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer so you can see all of the different yarns. So I've got them laid out according to day. So here's from left to right, days 1 through 4. That gives you a good look at all the different mini skeins. I am going to do a project for the Fiber Nymph Dye Works Mio Mel with these for May and June. So I thought what I would do is use all of these for the warp, but rather than lay them out in the order of the days that I opened them, I noticed that there were a number of color families. For instance, there's these 2 blue that look very similar. There's another blue there, another blue there, another blue there. And then, for instance, there's some that have red in them. That, that, that. that. So I thought if I put some sort of, I guess, pattern to the colors, I thought it would make for a nice striped warp. And then I thought about weaving the weft with them too, but that would mean so many ends. And I remembered I have this skein of Fiber Nymph Dyeworks Bedazzled, which is the base that my minis are in. This is called, I think it's Don't Tell Him It's a Rainbow. Yes, Don't Tell Him It's a Rainbow. So it's a 6-color striping sequence. And you can see that a lot of the colors that are in here I can find in the skeins that I have. It picks up a number of the different colors within my collection. So what I thought I would do is use this for the warp. That way I wouldn't have to, you know, deal with all those ends, and it would be something that's somewhat coherent throughout the scarf, while all of these skeins will kind of add different pops of color. So I just have to kind of get a block of time here. I'll put this here, you can see them all at once. I need to find a block of time when I can kind of just really play with the arrangement of these. I think I worked out that I could do, can't remember if it was 4 or 6 ends of each color, and have a decent size scarf width-wise, and then also have enough left over to make myself a pair of scrappy socks. I've done that with my prior holiday mini collections, and I really like to have these scrappy socks made from them. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure when this is going to happen, but it's something I'm definitely giving some thought to, and in the meantime I just get to admire these every day while I sit on the couch and knit. There's my spot right there. You can see my Galaxy cocktail socks in progress. So yeah, that's my next weaving project up and coming. That is it for all the crafty talk today. I'll just chat for a few more minutes about what's been going on around here, which isn't a heck of a lot, so it shouldn't take too long. We have continued to have a cool, wet spring here. Even days like today that start out promising, by afternoon it's clouded over, we'll get showers or flat out rain. It'll continue overnight, and then we wake up in the morning and do it all over again. We have not had a good long stretch of sunny weather yet this spring. It feels more like March or maybe early April than it does early May. Mind you, when the sunshine does arrive, it will probably come with a vengeance, and we'll all be wishing that it was cooler, but isn't that the way it usually goes? It was nice enough over the weekend that we were able to get some garden work done. We had some azaleas that did not fare well this past year. They were looking pretty sad between the extreme heat last summer and the ice storm this past winter. So I decided to move them to a different part of the yard, and then we replaced them with some more sun-loving plants. Can't remember what they're called. And we moved the azaleas to a part of the garden that we hadn't really done anything with yet. We've been working on our backyard over the last several years, and that was one part that, other than has 2 maple trees in it, there's nothing else in it. So I put the azaleas, then we bought a couple more of a different color blossom, and they bloom later than the original ones. And so all of a sudden that area of the garden, it's just nice to see some other shrubs in there along with the trees, and I'm kind of anxious to see how everything hopefully everything will thrive. There were some new leaves. The azaleas did bloom this spring, and there were some new leaves, but they lost a ton of leaves last year, and they just look like sticks instead of, what they're supposed to look like. So yeah, cross fingers, and if those don't recover, then we'll find something else to replace them with. So we did that on the weekend. We also bought a new outdoor swing and some patio furniture. We had been given a swing, I think more than a dozen years ago, by one of my sisters and brothers-in-law. We had expressed our desire to get a garden swing, and they happened to have two. They had bought two because they were such a good buy, and so they gave us one of them, and it has served us well all these years. But the other day I sat down on it, and the seam, on one of the seams on the seat gave way, and it was like, okay, time for a new one. So yeah, because got rid of our old patio furniture in that area. We'd had it for eons, and so it was nice to get it replaced with something new, and it looks really nice. We got a few planters, put those out, so I've got a few flowers around now, and then I'm going to be picking up more, or we are going to be picking up more tomorrow. The last couple of years I've gotten them through a fundraiser through our curling club, and I think they're arriving tomorrow. So have a couple hanging baskets and a few more planters. So hopefully we'll maybe see the hummingbirds again. I haven't seen them since winter, and when we got really, really cold weather, they disappeared. And even though the feeders have been up, just haven't seen them around. So I'm thinking once we get some more flowers around that we'll see them. So cross fingers for that too. Let's see. I've seen my grandkids a fair bit this last week or so. I looked after the younger two last Friday. They didn't have any school that day. And then our youngest granddaughter goes to one of her classmates' homes for daycare on school days, or most school days. And they were down with a stomach bug, so I went and picked her up the last 3 days and took her back to her place and waited till their dad got home, because her older sister is now working some days after school. So I just stayed there with the two younger ones. So that's been nice to see them, but it's kind of taken some chunks out of my days, which is a big part of why I didn't record until today. I like to have a full day to kind of prep and then record and then edit and process and all that stuff, but this didn't happen. Something, just a heads up for the next few weeks. Speaking of recording, I do not know what my recording schedule is going to look like. Next weekend we are heading up to the cabin. We had done some work on our water system last fall, and so we're going up with some other people to check it out and hopefully get water turned on and flowing for this season. And then the following weekend is the Victoria Day long weekend. It's it's a holiday here, so the Monday is the holiday. And there's our entire immediate family, and plus a couple of my sisters and their husbands are all planning to be at the cabins. So really happy to, I will be very happy to see my sister and brother-in-law who live in Toronto. They're flying out for that, so that'll be awesome. And yeah, it's just going to be a full house, so looking forward to that. But it just means that I will be having a couple of short weeks coming up, and then my sister and brother-in-law are going to be staying here I'm not even sure how long after the long weekend, and then we'll get them to the airport to fly home. So, um, yeah, just very short weeks, and I find those are hard to fit podcasts into. So I'm hoping to get one in over the next few weeks, but I don't know when that'll be. So if you don't hear from me or don't see me much on Ravelry, don't worry. It's just life is, life comes first. Podcast comes second. um, I think that's it. So for my something good this week, actually it's been my something good for the last few weeks, but I can finally fit it in. And it's omelets a la Julia Child. So we don't have the channel that has the new TV show about Julia Child. But HBO released the first episode on YouTube, and I watched it. And in one of the scenes, Julia Child makes an omelet and tells this television audience and her TV host how to do it. And I like omelets, but I've never been good at making them, and they always fall apart. They taste okay, but they just always look like a hot mess. And so so she's talking about how to do the omelet, and I thought I'm gonna try it because part of it involves like flipping your pan so that your omelet comes up and flips over and lands the other side down in the pan. I've never done that with anything like pancakes or anything, so I thought, I'm gonna try that. And I have a really good nonstick pan, but I added butter like she does, and that's partly for flavor too. That's the other thing. My omelets have been missing flavor, because the butter definitely adds some flavor and a little salt and pepper. And anyway, I've learned how to make a really decent omelet, and I've been eating them almost every day for breakfast. I eat eggs for breakfast most days anyway, but now it's a new way to cook them. And I got to be careful not to do it too much that I lose my taste for them. I don't want to spoil that, but I have sure been enjoying omelets. And every time I flip it and it's successful, I just feel like just so accomplished. It's just such a cool thing. I've messed up a couple, but I've never completely flopped it. A couple times I've flipped it and they've kind of folded in on themselves, but I haven't dropped one yet. So, but then I never do it right over the stove. I always move it over to where the cutting board is, or the counter, and I do it there so that if it falls, at least it's easy to clean up. But so far, so good. Knock wood. Okay, on that note, I am going to say goodbye. I'm going to see how much of this I can get edited, etc. before Cameron gets home. Take care, everyone. If you're a mom, happy Mother's Day on Sunday. I know it's not Mother's Day everywhere. I know the UK at least celebrate it at a different time, and I think maybe Australia too, but this coming Sunday in Canada and the United States anyway, it is Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. I hope you get to spend time with your mom or with your children. I'm not going to see my own mom until the following week, but I'm looking forward to that because I'm going to get to see her 2 weekends in a row. So I feel really, really, I think as time moves on and we're all getting older, I'm just cherishing that time with her more and more all the time. So I had a nice long conversation with her on the phone this morning, which is partly why was later getting recording today. But yeah, be good to see her. So I won't see her Mother's Day, but we'll see her for the 2 weekends following. So that'll be great. Anyway, now I'm just blathering on. So take care, everyone. I hope to see you again very soon. Thank you for watching and enjoy your crafting. Bye now.